everyone. I'm Koala Teacher from One English Academy, here to help with your homework. It's going to be fun. You'll see. If we go too fast, don't worry. Just hit pause. Take your time and catch up. It's all because if you hold on tight, we'll learn and grow. With every step, the more you'll know. Are you ready? Let's go! Today, we'll be reviewing Unit 4, Occupations. Remember, occupation just means jobs. We learned how to tell our friends what our mother does, what our father does, like my mom's a nurse, or my father's a pilot. In this unit, we learned how to ask questions like, what does your mother do? Or what does your father do? 엄마의 직업이 뭐야? 아빠는? We learned about the different names for these jobs like photographer, veterinarian, factory worker, sales clerk, baker, and a mechanic. We also learned about nurses, doctors, pilots, zookeepers, baker, so many jobs, so many occupations. We also learned how to say, what is his job? Or what is her job? Without further ado, let's get started. On page 28, the directions say to read and number. We're going to look at these sentences and put them in the correct order. 대화할 때 순서 맞게, we're going to use the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we look at this first picture, we can see that they're talking about Kate's dad. Andy's asking Kate, what does your father do? 너의 아빠는 무슨 일을 해? What does your father do? 사진을 보면, if you look at the picture, what does Kate's dad do? Good. He's a pilot. In this picture, who are we talking about? Andy의 엄마, Andy's mom. What does she do? Andy says, my mother's an office worker. 어떻게 대답할까? Would she say, oh, what does an office worker do? Or, I'm not sure. Good. Kate would say, oh, what does an office worker do? 그럼 마지막으로 Andy would say, I'm not sure. 잘 모르겠어. In part B, it says to look and write. This girl says, my mother is a zookeeper. In number 2, what does this boy's father do? My father is a... 야구가 뭐지? 야구 선수? Baseball player. Great, let's write. My father is a baseball player. And in number 3, do you remember the occupation where they look at the stars? They look at space? Great, astronomer. My mother is an astronomer. My mother is an astronomer. Remember, you need to use un because astronomer starts with the letter A, and that's a vowel. In number 4, what does this boy's father do? My father is a pilot. Very good. My father is a pilot. Double check your answers and let's go to the next page. On page 29, part C says to look and write. Number 1, the question says, what does your mother do? 회사에서 일하는 것 같은데. She's an office worker. In number 2, what does your father do? He's a pilot. And in number 3, what does your father do? He's a 무슨 선수? Baseball player. And number 4, what does your mother do? She's an astronomer. Great job! In part D, we need to read and check. In number 1, it says, what does your mother do? She's a zookeeper. Look, it's my cousin. But where can you see koalas? In the zoo. So we'll check the first picture. Numbers 2 and 3, I would like you to read and check which picture is correct. You can do it. I'll see you on the next page. On page 30, the directions say to look, unscramble, and write. Remember, unscramble means to take the letters or the words and put it in the right order. 맞는 순서를 바꾸는 거예요. In number 1, we see that this person works with animals. An animal doctor is called a veterinarian. So we will write, he's a veterinarian. Number 2, she's taking photos. She's a photographer. Great. Number 3, we have a hint. Sales clerk. Very good. We need to write, she's a sales clerk. And number 4, what is he? He's a factory worker, baker, or mechanic. Baker. And number 5, what does she do? She's a factory worker. And last, he fixes cars, a mechanic. Check your answers and I'll meet you at the next page. On page 31, we need to write. In number 1, the question says, what's his job? 같은 물건이 이렇게 많으면 공장에서 일하지 않을까? He's a factory worker. Number 2, what's her job? She's an animal doctor. So she's a veterinarian. And number 3, what's the question? What's her job? She's a sales clerk. And number 4, what's his job? He's a photographer. In part C, we're going to look and circle. In number 1, is he a baker? Yes, he is. For numbers 2, 3, and 4, I would like you to do it and we'll check your answers. Okie dokie, let's check. Number 2, is he a mechanic? No, he isn't. He's a zookeeper. In number 3, is she a veterinarian? Veterinarian is a doctor, but animal doctor. This is a person. No, she isn't. Number 4, is she an office worker? 컴퓨터도 있고, 전화도 있고. Yes, she is. Check your answers and I'll see you on the next page. On page 32, the directions say to read and connect. A veterinarian does what? Helps animals. A mechanic, I'll give you a hint. Bong bong. Fixes cars. And number 3, a sales clerk. I'll give you a hint. They work with things in a store. 팔죠? A sales clerk sells things. Number 4, a factory worker. 공장에서 makes things. A photographer takes pictures. And last, an office worker uses a computer. Great job! In part B, we're going to look and write. What's her job? Oh, animal doctor. Veterinarian. A veterinarian helps animals. Number 2, a sales clerk. Hint, hint. Sells things. For numbers 3 and 4, I would like you to do it on your own. 할 수 있죠? Let's check your answers. Number 3, a photographer takes pictures. And number 4, a factory worker makes things. Great job! Let's keep going. On page 33, the directions say to write. Number 1, what does a do? 공장에서 일하는 것 같고, 그러면 what does a factory worker do? Let's write. What does a factory worker do? Well, a factory worker makes things. And number 2. A mechanic do? What does? How do we answer this question? A mechanic fixes cars. Great job! And number 3. What does what job is this? 뭐 팔고 있죠? Sales clerk. What does a sales clerk do? A sales clerk sells things. And number 4. What occupation or what job is this? There's a computer and a phone, pencils, paper, books. So the question is, what does an office worker do? Remember, we need to use un because O is a vowel. What does an office worker do? An office worker 컴퓨터를 사용해요. Uses a computer. And number 5. What does animal doctor? What does a veterinarian do? A veterinarian helps animals. And last is number 6. What's her job? What does a photographer do? 사진 찍니까? A photographer takes pictures. Great job. Please check your answers and we'll go to the next page. On page 34, we are going to write. I would like you to use the words in the box to help write down what number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. We're going to do the first one together. There's 2 boys, and they look really happy. 친구겠지? So we'll write friend. In part B, you're going to look and check. In number 1, this is a picture of a frog. You can do it. I'll see you on the next page. On page 35, we are going to read a story called Animal Photographers. 동물들을 사진 찍는 사람들에 대한 이야기인가 봐. In the first picture, our story says, Craig and Fran are animal photographers. 이 친구는 Craig이고 이 친구는 Fran이겠지? He uses a camera. She uses a computer. In our second picture, we see that they are at the zoo today. Craig takes pictures of crabs, crocodiles, and frogs. Fran fixes the pictures on her computer. 편집이나 수정해야겠지? In the third picture, we see that they are good friends and they are good photographers. Let's answer the question in part D. Number 1. What does Craig use? He uses a camera. What does Fran use? She uses a computer. Where do Craig and Fran take pictures? They take pictures at the zoo. On page 36, the directions say to read and match. In number 1, the question says, How's she going to school? 학교로 어떻게 가요? She's an office worker. It's next to the music room. He's a factory worker. No, she isn't. He's going to the store. She's going by bus. Remember when we talk about how she or he going to 어디? 그러면 he or she 보고 나서 we can say by bus, by car, on foot, by taxi, by train. So we'll connect it to she's going by bus. Number 2, is she a baseball player? How do we answer this question? She's an office worker. It's next to the music room. He's a factory worker. No, she isn't. He's going to the store. No, she isn't. For numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, I'd like you to do it and we'll check your answers. All right. Number 3, where's he going? He's going to the store. Number 4, what does your mother do? She's an office worker. And number 5, where's the lunchroom? It's next to the music room. Number 6, what's his job? He's a factory worker. Double check and let's keep going. In part B, we need to look and check. Is she going to the store? Yes, she is. Number 2, what does a photographer do? A photographer takes pictures. Which one is taking pictures? This one. Number 3, how's he going to work? He's going by train. So we'll check the picture of the train. Number 4, is she a veterinarian? No, she isn't. No라면 동물들을 안 도와드리는 의사 선생님을 찾아야지. So we'll check this one. Great job. Check your answers and let's go to the last page. On page 37, we are going to read, number, and match. 대화식으로 순서 맞게 numbering을 해야 돼. For example, we have I live in New Zealand. Sometimes I can see whales. My name is Shelley. I go to the beach every day. So which one will be number 1? Great! My name is Shelley. Let's match this sentence to the picture of Shelley. 그럼 어느 나라에서 왔는지 얘기를 해야 되지? I live in New Zealand. 나는 뉴질랜드에서 살아. 뉴질랜드 사진은 어디에 있을까? Right here. 그리고 셸리가 좋아하고 매일 하는 거는 뭐가 있을까? I go to the beach every day. 그럼 바다의 사진을 찾아야지. Right here. And last, sometimes I can see whales. Wow, she can see whales sometimes. So cool. In part D, we need to look at the question and match it to the answer. Number 1. What's her name? Her name is Shelly. When is summer vacation? 호주랑 뉴질랜드는 한국이랑 완전 달라. 예를 들면 크리스마스 때 눈이 안 오고 하나도 안 추워. 오히려 It's so hot. So, summer vacation, 우리한테는 여름 방학은 5월, 6월, 7월쯤이잖아. 뉴질랜드는 12월 그리고 1월. So when is summer vacation? Summer vacation is in December and January. Number 3 and 4, you can do it by yourself, and we're all done. You did an awesome job today. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the great work. You know what to do. I hope you'll miss me and be ready to play. Koala Teacher will see you in the next video, okay? Bye!